Who do you like more, Avraham or Noach? A recent YouGov poll would suggest that although we prefer the name Noah, we like the character Avraham more, and we relate to him more. We think of ourselves as the children of Avraham, we think of him as the founding father of Judaism, and we don't relate to Noach in that way at all. Why is that? I came across an amazing medrash this week that I'd never seen before. There's a very well-known medrash this week about Avram being cast into a fiery furnace by King Nimrod because he smashed up his father Terach's idol shop. He was the biggest manufacturer of idols. He owned Idols R Us, and Avram, as a young lad, went and smashed it up as a rebellion against people serving idols. And King Nimrod took great issue with this and throws him into a fiery furnace, and miraculously Hashem saves him. And at that point, that is when we're actually introduced to the rest of the story of Avraham, and Hashem appears to him and tells him Lech Lecha in next week, etc. And we consider it one of Avram's 10 tests. But this alternative medrash that I saw has extra details. It says, after the Kivshan Ha'esh, after the fiery furnace, Nimrod initially believes in God because, he's seen that God saved Avram from the fiery furnace, but he changes his mind again about Avram and decides he actually wants to kill him. And he sends his messengers to go and bring Avram to be killed. And Avram's got a loyal servant, Eliezer, who runs ahead and tells him that King Nimrod's men are coming to get him. So Avram goes into hiding. Where does he go into hiding? He goes into hiding in his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather Noach's house. Noach, 10 generations earlier than Avraham, is still alive, and Avram goes into hiding with him for a year, with Noach and his son Shem, and he lives with them for a year. Now, at the beginning of this week's Sedra, Rashi poses a question: who was greater, Noach or Avraham? What if Noach had lived in Avram's generation? Would he have been greater than him or less great than him? And actually, we see that although they're 10 generations apart, their time span did overlap. So I can't imagine what they discussed for that year. Maybe they were comparing notes on living through a flood versus walking through fire. I don't know. But it shows that actually they were all around at the same time. Now, this brings a bigger question, because we always say that Avram discovered Hashem or told the world about Hashem. But clearly, if Noach is still alive and he's everyone's great-grandfather who was alive at the time, everyone was descended from him, he's going to be famous. He's not some recluse that no one's ever heard of. He's Grandpapa Noach, or Zayda Noach, who everybody knows, and everyone knows his story. I'm sure he was telling everyone, I lived through the Mabul, and Shem was there as well, and he's telling everyone, it was crazy, the world was completely different, and then there was a flood. Everyone believed in God and knew that God existed because Noah's still alive to tell them that he's spoken to God and that he caused this flood. So if everyone knows that God exists, why are they all serving idols still? And what does Avram bring to the table? Really, the thing that Avram teaches the world is that they believe that God just created it and then left us to our own devices, which to a certain extent he did, because he wants us to have free will and to be able to make our own choices. But Avram teaches the world that Hashem still cares what we're doing. He didn't just leave us to our own devices. It was only to give us the opportunity to make choices. But you're meant to make good choices. You're meant to make the most out of life and live a meaningful life and have that connection to Hashem like Avraham did. And that is what he's teaching the world. He goes out and he does kiruv, and he sits and he teaches people about Hashem and how to live their lives. And that's why we think of ourselves as the children of Avraham, because you have to be proactive. You have to give your life meaning. Avram's renowned for his chesed, for his kindness, for haknasas arachim, for bringing in guests. He doesn't just sit around doing nothing and not interacting with the rest of the world. He cares about the world. That is what Judaism is. That's what it means to be a Jew. Have a good week and a good Shabbos.